Hello, everyone. I'm Chuang. Let's draw the skull of Lokiceratops in a side view. Its skull has a shape reminiscent of a chair when viewed from this angle. The tall frill resembles a backrest, so make sure to draw this part as vertically as possible during composition. When drawing, especially from the very beginning drafting, we should pay special attention to the skull's shape. Its face appears relatively short, its nose is very tall, and its nostrils are huge. Also, we need to focus on the two massive horns atop its frill, which will be greatly flat from the side. Moreover, we should remember to include the typical features of ceratopsians in the drawing. For example, in a side view, the area around the eye socket and the brow horn are integrated. Now, let's get started. First, create a draft by outlining the skull. Use dotted lines to sketch its face. Behind the head, the frill extends upward quite high. Its frill is very tall. Here, we can draw a suture. On each lateral side of the frill, two bones join together. The upper bone is the parietal, and the lower is the squamosal. Then, outline the beak and position the eye socket. Now, we can depict the details from its mouth. Draw the shape of the beak first. It had huge nostrils with no nasal horn on top, only a slight bulge. Here, draw a suture, the junction between the premaxilla and maxilla. Its beak ends up here. Then, show the hollow cavity inside the nostril and color it black. After that, draw the suture on its nasal bone. Above this suture is the nasal bone, and below is the premaxilla. Add the brow horn above the eye. The eye socket is located below. Here is another suture. Then, draw the maxilla, which has teeth on it. The teeth are not big. Below the eye is the jugal. Here is the lateral temporal fenestra. Behind the eye is the postorbital. Then, draw the frill extending backward. Then, we can draw details on it. The squamosal comes first. Like other ceratopsians, it had many small marginal ossifications along its frill, which are these spike-like structures. These structures are detached from the skull. When alive, they were not completely connected to the skull. They were a bit like osteoderms, derived from the skin and only linked to the skull when the dinosaur grew to a certain age. On the top of the parietal are four huge spikes, a unique feature of Lokiceratops. Two of them curve outwards, and two protrude upwards. Here is a huge opening in the parietal. Then, let's complete the skull. Draw the frontal. Next, move to the mandible and draw its entire shape first. Its mandible is a bit like that of many modern mammals. Ceratopsians have a protruded structure here, extending below their jugal bones. The posterior is the articulation formed by the angular and the surangular. Then, add the mandible beak at the front. Draw its teeth on the dentary. Next, let's add skin to the skull. This part of its nose might have arched keratin when it was alive, so let's draw this part to be larger. Its horns were much longer than the bones in its lifetime. Let's also present this part. Then, add the skin to the frill. What comes next are those marginal frill ornaments. Due to the wrapping keratin, they should appear larger than the inside bones, especially these two massive outward stretched structures. Then, we come to these small spikes. Despite looking relatively flat, they should have thicker tips. Then, let's outline its neck. Go to the front to draw its beaks. The beaks should also be much longer than the bones, as they had horny substance, resembling modern birds. Draw the tongue at this position. The front of the lower beak should be also longer and sharper. Then, draw the throat on the underside of the neck. After finishing the outline, we can color this part black. When coloring, make the posterior part to be slightly breathable. Don't fill the color to solid. Like this, we've finished drawing the skull of Lokiceratops in a side view.